All right, ready to dive into a mountain of Google reviews?
Oh, I am always ready for a good deep dive, especially when it involves food.
Me too, and this one's a biggie. Looks like our listener has a serious question about Loco Cantina in Kingwood. They want to know if it lives up to the hype.
The age-old question, right? Is it really the best? Or are those five-star reviews too good to be true?
Exactly, so let's break it down, shall we? First things first, where can our hungry listeners find this Loco Cantina?
Well, if you find yourself in Kingwood and craving some Mexican food,
Yeah.
set your GPS for 1660 West Lake Houston Parkway.
Sweet number. You know I'm going to ask.
Of course, Suite 107, they wouldn't want to miss you, and they're ready for you pretty much anytime. Hunger strikes, brunch, lunch, dinner, you name it.
Sounds dangerous for my waistline, but excellent for my taste buds. And just in case our listeners, actually want to call and make a reservation, what's the number?
No need to dig for it. I've got you covered.
Can we?
281-973-9116. And hey, if you do give them a ring, be sure to ask for Maria at the bar.
Maria. Why is that?
She's, shall we say, a bit of a celebrity in these reviews. People rave about her. But let's get back to Loco Cantina itself. Their website mentions those two magic words. Classic favorites. Oh, and a full bar to wash it all down.
Music to my ears. But hold on, full bar, classic favorites. Are we talking patio vibes here? You know how much I love a good outdoor dining situation?
That's interesting. The website's surprisingly quiet about outdoor seating. No mention of a patio, which is a shame because Kingwood has some beautiful spots.
Right. Especially by the lake. Maybe they're keeping it a secret.
A secret garden patio.
Well,
Now, that's an intriguing thought, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
You're right. Got to stay focused. We've got a mountain of reviews to climb. Homemade tortillas, they get me every time. But before we get lost in a tortilla-induced daydream, we've got a lot of reviews to unpack here. What are people saying about Loco Cantina? Give us the good, the bad, and the maybe a little too much hot sauce.
We'll buckle up because the good news is it's overwhelmingly positive. We're talking a chorus of best Mexican food in Kingwood echoing through these reviews. People are serious about their love for Loco Cantina.
Okay, color me intrigued. What's got them so smitten? Is it the food, the ambiance, the margaritas? Don't hold out on me.
Honestly, it seems to be a bit of everything. People rave about the food, of course, but also the service, the lively atmosphere.
That buzzy energy, I love that.
Exactly. And there are even shout-outs to the live music on Wednesdays.
Now, that's what I call a fiesta. Okay, they've got the vibes, they've got the music, but what about those margaritas? I'm a sucker for a good margarita.
Oh, you are in luck. The margaritas are getting rave reviews. Mango habanero seems to be a fan favorite, and I saw someone mention a watermelon margarita that sounded pretty tempting too.
Oh man, mango habanero margarita on a warm Texas evening.
Sounds idyllic, right? But let's not get carried away just yet. While many are singing Loco Cantina's praises, there are a few recurring concerns in the reviews we should address.
Okay, time for a reality check. Hit me with the potential downsides.
Well, parking seems to be a bit of a pain point. Multiple reviewers mention limited parking, especially during peak hours.
The dreaded parking struggle. Nothing kills the appetite like circling the block for 20 minutes.
Tell me about it. And then there's the food itself. While the majority rave about it, a handful of reviewers found it, and I quote, bland.
Bland. Ouch, that's a harsh word when it comes to Mexican food. What dishes were they disappointed with?
There wasn't one specific dish that stood out, but Claudia Washington, remember her? She was not a fan of the guacamole.
Oh no. The guacamole is like the heart and soul of a good Mexican meal.
Right. She went so far as to say it tasted like mashed avocado without any flavor.
Okay, I'm starting to understand the bland comments now. Hopefully it was just an off day for the guacamole.
I hope so too. And speaking of off days, remember Andy Hudson, the one who found a hair in his food?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a definite mood killer. I hope Loco Cantina addressed that situation appropriately.
They did. The owner personally responded to the review, apologized profusely, and assured everyone that food safety is a top priority.
Okay, good. Mistakes happen, but it's how you handle them that matters.
And speaking of handling things, how do they address those bland comments? So it sounds like Loco Cantina is aware of the feedback, both good and bad. But how are they actually addressing those bland comments? I mean, taste is subjective, but multiple people saying the food lacks flavor, that's got to ring some alarm bells.
You'd think so, right? But it's interesting, they haven't really engaged with those specific comments directly. They're responding to other concerns, like the parking situation.
Oh, yeah, what'd they say about that? Did they promise valet parking and a personal apology to everyone who's had to circle the block?
Not quite, but they did acknowledge that parking can be tricky, especially on weekends. They even suggested checking out nearby side streets if the lot's full. A practical solution, I appreciate that. But let's get back to the food. Are we sensing a theme here? Is Loco Cantina maybe more about the experience, the margaritas, the music, the Maria magic, than the authenticity of the cuisine?
That's a great point. And remember those best Mexican food in Kingwood comments. It's worth considering that many of those reviewers might be comparing Loco Cantina to other Tex-Mex spots in the area, not necessarily authentic Mexican restaurants.
So it's all relative. They might be the reigning champs of Tex-Mex in Kingwood, even if the guacamole isn't quite boil-approved. So where does this leave us? What's the final verdict for our listeners?
Well, if you're looking for a lively spot with great margaritas, friendly service, and a fun atmosphere, Loco Cantina seems like a solid bet. But if you're a stickler for authentic Mexican flavors, or if parking is a major concern, you might want to temper your expectations or explore other options.
Wise words. And hey, if anyone out there does brave the crowds in the parking lot, we want to hear all about it. Did you go for the mango habanero margarita? Were the tortillas homemade? Was Maria as charming as everyone says? Spill the tea, people, spill the tea. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into Loco Cantina. Until next time, happy eating, everyone.
Hey, local business owners. Tired of lost customers and missed opportunities? It's time to plug that leaky bucket and skyrocket your reviews. Head over to revieweinstein.com now and discover how to turn your happy customers into your best marketers. Don't let another day go by without maximizing your local presence. Visit revieweinstein.com today and start growing your business the smart way.